When you walk into a gym, what do you see? Chances are you'll most likely see a treadmill. But did you know that treadmills, your run-of-the-mill innocent looking gym equipment, was actually invented to be a torture device? In 1818, a man named William Cubitt was walking around in a prison, and he noticed something peculiar. He saw all these prisoners sitting around doing nothing. Lazy bastards. And being the big fan of prison reform, he wanted to cure these prisoners from their laziness. He went home that day and designed an eternal staircase, created to punish those who didn't seek progress. Prisoners would be put on a spinning wheel for hours on end. Now, putting humans on spinning wheels wasn't a new concept in itself. We had been doing that for years to grind wheat. But this wasn't grinding anything except air. This was walking for the sake of walking. And there are reports in Warwick prison that prisoners had to walk up to 10 hours a day, serving no purpose at all. Now, let's say you got tired from walking for 10 hours a day for weeks on end. You would then, like a regular treadmill, fall off the treadmill, but to make sure that you would get back on top of it, they motivated you by whipping you back. There was one huge design flaw in these early torture methods though. An oversight by the designer which needed fixing. Can you see it? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Here, camaraderie. We can't have punishment to be such a social occasion, so we made it worse. We isolated the prisoners in individual booths, because walking for 10 hours a day is already fucking boring, so to make it even worse, we made sure you couldn't talk to anybody else. You were stuck in your small little booth, walking. I mean, if there's one way to make treadmills worse, even the modern ones, is to place a booth around it to make sure that you're devoid of any type of sensation. And this decreasing of your sensations to zero is actually very similar to another very unusual way of torturing people, called white torture. Sufferers of white torture are strapped in white clothes, thrown in a white room with white light, served white food on white plates. You want to go to the toilet? Slip a white piece of paper under the door and you'll be taken to a white bathroom. The goal here is to decrease your sensual stimulation to absolutely zero. It sounds innocent enough, considering this is a video about torture. And even though there is no physical pain involved, the psychological damage done is unbelievable. Victims of this enhanced interrogation methods say that they would rather have their bones broken or be subjected to waterboarding again instead of having to experience white torture. I guess because of the lack of physical pain, there have actually been some YouTubers who tried this white torture on themselves willingly. Most notable being...
Hey Vsauce, Michael here.
Now if you know Michael or Vsauce, you know that this is an incredibly smart guy with a very sound mind. But in this video you can see just how weird he starts to act only after a few days. He gets just confused. He doesn't say or really do anything anymore. He just doesn't know. And keep in mind, this is only after a few days. Prisoners were put in these white rooms not for days or weeks, but months. And also keep in mind that Michael had the foresight to know that this would be done after 3 days. If you would be subjected to white torture, you would be put in that room and not know if it would ever end. Nothing but the voices in your head and eternal, unending, everlasting whiteness everywhere you look. I'll put a link in the description just so you can check it out for yourself, because it's really hard to really convey this psychological damage and confusion that you go through when experiencing this type of torture. I mean, it's just a white room, but it's ridiculous how effective this is. The next torture method I want to talk about is the very first fact that I've ever written down in my little fact bible that I have. I've learned so many new interesting facts over the years, but this is theoretically where the paper trail started. It is called bamboo torture. It's an East Asian style of torture where they would lay down a prisoner horizontally on top of sprouting bamboo. You see, bamboo, unlike most other plants, is extremely strong when it sprouts, and it can also grow extremely quickly. There are types of bamboo which can grow up to 4 centimeters per hour, and there are also types of bamboo that can push their way through fucking concrete. So as the prisoner lays down horizontally strapped on top of this bamboo, it slowly starts to puncture its way through the skins and then the organs, and it can even penetrate the entire body. I mean, just let's go back to torture methods which can make you laugh, like tickle torture. Yeah, that used to be a real thing. Being ticklish is kind of weird to begin with. I mean, why do we laugh if we get pinched in certain spots? Everyone hates it, but it doesn't actually hurt, and after being tickled for a while, you're probably just a bit exhausted. But everyone, and I mean everyone, can imagine the horrors of being tickled for hours on end. As you probably guessed, this is exactly what tickle torture is. One of the ways they would go about this is they would strap the victim down to the floor and dip their feet in salt water. They would then bring in a goat, renowned for their love of salt water, and would let it lick the victim's feet. The victim would start laughing uncontrollably, and when the salt water was all licked off, they would just start the process all over again. There are reports that describe loss of bladder control, vomiting, and people passing in and out of consciousness. The weird thing is, this is actually a very effective way to torture someone, given that it doesn't really leave long-term damage or marks. Probably shouldn't be giving you advice on how to torture people. I mean, next thing you know, they're gonna use music for torture. What? They already do? Oh, yeah, no, of course, yeah. Because listening to the same song for hours on end gets fucking annoying. So, for example, the CIA would put one very American song on repeat and just let it drive people crazy until they would just confess. But the thing is, it's the range of music that has been used for torture which I find just hilarious. They would use anything from Barney's I love you, you love me, to Born in the USA. Born in the USA. Rosa Mundi. La 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 la. Rosa Mundi. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the. Hare Krishna. Hallelujah. Hare Krishna. Hare Bari. I actually made a playlist for you guys on Spotify with all the songs that have been confirmed to have been used for torture. Just in case, I don't know, you were looking for some new music, you can find it down in the description. Just know that for the full experience, it isn't about listening to the entire playlist, but putting one song on repeat for hours, days, or weeks on end. The last unusual form of torture is actually the YouTube algorithm not picking up your newly released video. Yeah, I know. Crazy. The horror of watching your newly released video just flatline. Oh, the agony. The horror. Give me that bamboo stick any day of the week. Listen, if you got this far, just know that I truly appreciate it. And it would be amazing if you could I don't know, leave a comment, leave a like, or God forbid, subscribe. I never realized just how much it actually helps, especially for a small channel like mine. So I've started liking other videos as well to show my support. Namely, my own videos. Rosa Mundi. La 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 la. Rosa Mundi.